Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Shining Brighter. My name's Nick, and if you like my content, please comment, like, subscribe, hit the hype button, help my channel to grow, help me reach out and help as many people as possible. As always, I'm presenting you with life lessons that I've learned, work that I've done on myself, my perspectives on things, and it's all in an attempt to spark healthy conversation that we can all learn from and we can all grow as people and become a better world. So with that, today's topic is people will show you who they are and all you have to do is let them. So what do I mean by that? Oftentimes, especially when we're younger, with some exceptions, of course, we make connections with people, relationships, family members, friends, romantic partners, co-workers, whatever the case may be. And no matter how big or small the connection is, whether it's your best friend or somebody that you just say hi to in passing, maybe it's somebody that works at a store that you frequent. The basis for every relationship, as I've said many times, is respect, and it has to be mutual respect. The problem is, and I'm guilty of this too, is that a majority of the time we don't really pay attention to the other person in the relationship. And that may be not paying attention to how they speak to you, meaning what tone they take, their body language, the amount of interest they show. Maybe you're talking with them and then somebody else walks by and they just stop talking to you and start talking to that other person. There's so many things to pay attention to that will show you who that person really is as it relates to your relationship. But without knowing how to read people, knowing how to see the signs, taking the time to pay attention, and not being oblivious, we miss it a lot of times. And like I said, I'm guilty of it as much as anybody else. Definitely, while I was a police officer, I learned to read all this stuff so much better. And, there are people who read it even better than me, obviously, because, everybody's at a different level. So throughout my tenure as a police officer, and more so over the last 3 years, doing all the shadow work and really stopping to look around and see what was going on with people in my life, I really paid attention to the signs and the signals and everything else. And unfortunately, I had to cut a lot of people out of my life because I finally not only recognized it, but I think I had recognized it for a while, but finally accepted that these people were not my friends and were not there for my best interests. They may have been cordial to my face, but that's pretty much where it ended for a lot of people. And that's disappointing because I'd hoped for better for a lot of people. I saw what I thought was a much better potential for them to become. But no matter what you see towards another person, doesn't mean that they can realize that. What I mean is they may not be ready, willing, or able to commit to the work they need to do to become that version that you see. Now, it's nobody's fault It might not even be that they don't want to. In some cases it is. But a lot of times I would argue that it's just because they've been going through life unchallenged. Everything being so superficial in relationships, and nobody really stopping to look at what they're doing, how they're treating you, how they're talking to you, and analyze the behavior and call it out. So, in my case, especially at work, I had some pretty awful people around me, and I gave a lot of grace and forgiveness because, again, back then I used to see what I thought was their potential and hoped that if I showed them enough of how good a person I was, that they would pull back and stop. But it didn't happen because that just enables them. If you're not calling people out on their bad behavior, and it doesn't mean that you have to do that in a rude way, or even that you have to do it in a verbal confrontation. You can simply turn around and walk away and just not speak to the person. Sometimes silence is more powerful than any words you can speak. But you'll see, pay attention to the people around you, especially the people that you think are your better or best friends. When they're talking with you, do they make eye contact? Are they listening intently? Are they giving you feedback because they listened to what you said? Are they reading your body language? Can they say, hey, look, I'm looking at you and I can tell you're not yourself. If you need to talk, I'm here. Or are they seeing it and not doing anything, or just not seeing it all, and you're trying to emotionally or through your words or whatever, trying to look for something from them, some form of help or understanding, and they just kind of blow you off and like, all right, I gotta go, and disappear. Or like I said, you're talking to them and somebody else walks by and mid-sentence they drop you like a hot potato, start talking to that other person, and walk away with them. These are the kinds of things that show you who people really are, whether they're your friends or not. If you had two friends that you thought were your best friends, and you had an emergency situation, and you called the first one, and he or she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't get there, or gave some excuse that you knew wasn't true. And then you called the other person, and they're like, where are you? I'm on my way. Again, that shows you who those two people are. And it's not hard. You don't have to be a detective. You don't have to read minds. Like I said, all you have to do is pay attention to what's happening in front of you. Don't just be, an oblivious participant in the relationship. Say you have a girlfriend, and you introduce her to your group of friends, and everybody's being respectful, except maybe there's that one guy who's openly flirting with her in front of you, or putting you down in front of her, or trying to steal the spotlight or make themselves look good, whatever. Maybe you'll say, oh, that's just their personality. No, that's not just their personality. That's total disrespect. If somebody respects you, considers you a friend, they don't do that. And you'll know because you'll see all your other friends not doing that thing. Family members. Now, this one can be tough because family is supposed to be the best source of love, care, and stability in your world. It's not always that way. I get that. But that's what it's supposed to be. So, and the worst is if you have parents that show preference to one child over another, and it's obvious. That is so damaging to the child that does not get the love, care, and attention like the other sibling does. That's something that follows them through life, and oftentimes will require a lot of therapy and a lot of work. And it's not an easy thing to get beyond. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be walking out here. The grass getting a little tall and tick season's crazy. So, you know, or maybe you have, I don't know, say 3 siblings and 2 of them get along great and the other one's alienated. No matter what it is, it's damaging. But again, if you pay attention and you see it, as you get older, you can call it out. You can say you won't tolerate it. You can have the hard conversations as to why. And hopefully you can heal whatever the issue is amongst you guys. And if not, you know, as much as I would prefer a positive resolution, then as you get older, maybe they don't have access to you anymore. Maybe you go your own way, do your own thing, and if it really matters to them, you know, they know where you are, and they can come and talk to you. Like I said, especially with family, I would always hope for a positive outcome, but you know, that's not always the case. And like I said in another video, family is what you make it. Family is the group of people closest to you that support you, that lift you up, that want the best for you, that show you that love, care, affection, and support and respect. And that's not always your blood family, your blood relatives, sadly. But no matter what the case may be, what it all comes down to, as usual, is respect. You have to pay attention to whether or not people are respecting you, showing you the respect you deserve, as long as, caveat, you are giving that respect to them. Okay, respect is earned, it is not just given. And you can't ask or expect any of these things if you're not giving it to begin with. So it's a two-way street. You know, you might wonder why somebody is giving you the cold shoulder or ignoring you or whatever. Maybe it's something you're doing that's disrespecting them, and they're reading the signs saying, okay, obviously this person doesn't respect me, so I'm just going to pull back. If that were the case, I would hope you would be a big enough person to recognize it and say, you know what, this is important to me, this relationship. I'm going to reach out and talk to that person. I'm going to find out what the problem is, and then I'm going to see if we can work our way to a resolution. Because there's so many bad people in the world. So many people that will treat you poorly. So many people that will try to take advantage, shake your hand while they're stabbing you in the back, make you believe they're your friend while they're really trying to hurt you as much as they can. And you don't need those people, but you do need good people. So as much as you need them to step up and be respectful and act appropriately, you need to take accountability for yourself and make sure you're doing it too. So as you're dealing with people in your life, pay attention to the signs. Watch their body language. Are they locked in on you? Are they listening? Are they paying attention? Are they offering any kind of care, support, constructive criticism, whatever it may be? Or are they just superficial and turning away as soon as somebody that they think is more interesting comes along? You'll find out really quick who the good people in your life are and who the superficial, unnecessary people are. And those good people are the ones I want you to surround yourself with. Because the more positivity you put out and you get in return, the more those type of people will be drawn into your circle and into your world. And it's much easier to have a good, successful, happy life when you're surrounded by good people than it is when you're surrounded by people who don't care, don't respect you, try to bring you down, try to hurt you. And again, it's important to remember while I'm, talking about this stuff, don't wish anybody ill. You don't want that karma coming back on you. If people are disrespecting you and you talked about it with them and they continue to do it, you cut them out, but that doesn't mean you wish them ill, okay? Because again, you don't know what shaped them into the person they are, and they can never break the cycle if they're never given any positive wishes. So if you don't have it within you yet to forgive somebody for how they wronged you, ask the universe to send them forgiveness. Ask the universe to send them love, understanding, healing, strength, whatever you can think of that they might need. And like I said, it doesn't have to come from you. If you can learn to forgive, which is not always easy, it definitely will help you heal and be happier because that burden's off of you. But if you can't, still ask the universe to send it. And I know it, a lot of people would be like, no way, no way. But again, how do you help those people break the cycle? So that is all, my friends. As always, know your worth, know your value, respect yourselves. I see you all for who you really are, and I truly do love you all for it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Pay attention to those signs. People will show you who they are. Take care.